Hey everybody, it's Gina here, and I just thought I'd take a moment. I've had several people ask me about keto. They can't seem to understand it. They can't find a good guide online about it, and I just wanted to put a quick video here of what keto is and what foods you should be avoiding or eating. So I actually made a huge list of different foods just so I can actually say, which is awesome. But first, let me just tell you what keto is, okay? So most of our lives we're brought up being carb burners. So when I used to train for like a half marathon, I used to carb load. So you would eat lots of pasta and everything the night before, and you'd bring like sugar, chews, and that kind of stuff during to give yourself energy. So you would be fueled by either carbohydrates or sugar, and it would give that instant burst of energy. But then after you'd have like a dip in your energy, okay? So being a carb burner, it works, but you only have energy for so long. When you go keto and are in ketosis, your body has switched from a carb burning machine to a fat burning machine. So that means that your body is actually run on fats. And what happens when your body is run on fats is that you actually don't have that dip like you do in insulin and that kind of stuff. So when you're a carb burner, you have that insulin raise, dip, where when you're fueled by fat, even if you don't consume something for like 6 or 8 hours, you actually, your body will actually use your own fat to burn if it needs to. But you're much more like this. You don't, when you're eating fat or not intaking it, you don't have these sugar spikes, okay? So your insulin tends to level out really well. This is one of the reasons why keto has worked for me with my insulin resistance due to PCOS, is because with sugars, my body, natural or refined, it doesn't matter. My body doesn't know how to handle an overdose of them. So even if I tried to eat like Canadian food health diet thing, the little pyramid thing and everything, or even like a Weight Watchers thing, it would never work for me because any kind of sugars, even fruit, even though fruit has a lot of good substance in it, it wouldn't work for me because your body doesn't know how to differentiate between refined and natural sugars. It really doesn't. Your body just goes, sugar is sugar. Although if you eat the fruit, obviously there's more benefits in it than just the sugar. But when it comes to dealing with sugar, your body can't tell the difference. So this is what I want to say for the people that are starting out that don't really know what keto is and they're having a lot of hard times with it. Basically, you're turning into a fat-fueled machine. Yay. Anyways, so here's some basic things that you would want to stay away from if you are seeking out a ketogenic lifestyle, okay? So if you want to be a fat burner, the things you want to stay away from would be pasta, rice. So we're talking carbohydrates, but not vegetables necessarily, but things like starches. So we're looking at potato, a lot of root vegetables you want to stay away from, pasta, rice, breads, oatmeal, cereals, most fruits because they're very high in sugar. Now, some of this stuff can be added to your diet if you ever want to do what I do. I'm at maintenance weight now, and for my hormones, I feel that I need some carb ups. So I use some sweet potatoes and that. But when you first get fat fueled, you probably don't want to start with that kind of stuff because you want your body to get used to being really, really excited about having like fat as your fuel. If you're going from, okay, you've been a week being fat fueled and you're now just in ketosis and that kind of stuff, and your body's just getting used to that, and then all of a sudden you're bombarded with a whole bunch of carbohydrates like starchy stuff and pastas, your body doesn't know what to use as fuel. So you want that your body to be used to using fat as fuel, okay? And ketosis is just basically your body's making ketones. Okay, so your body's going to be making ketones, and you're going to run on those instead of on the carbohydrates that you take in. Okay, so I'm going to move around a lot because I do have some pretty bad back problems. So let me do this. Don't mind me. Okay, so here's some basics. So the things that you want to stay away from, okay, are the starches, the pasta, rice, breads, oatmeal, cereals, and most fruits, okay? You also want to stay away from, even if they're keto, I really have a problem when people eat a lot of processed things. So watch for prepackaged things. There's a lot of stuff in those. Instead, for carbohydrates, you would want to eat things like greens. So we're talking like, greens. So cabbage, bell peppers, mushrooms, asparagus, broccoli, spinach, romaine lettuce, arugula, which is my favorite green right now, radishes, zucchini, both green and yellow, Brussels sprouts, eggplant, avocado, tomatoes within reason, some berries within reason as well. So things like strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberry, stuff like that. Leeks and onions within reason too. They're just a little bit higher in sugars and carbs. But if you guys do start tracking, and you don't have to start by tracking, you can literally start by just deleting certain foods and replacing them with something else. So when it comes to starches and carbs, let's just talk about this for a sec, because all of the veggies that I listed off are great veggies to have. I always tell people, if you want to make it a lifestyle, you might want to have a few carrots in there. If so, just have a few. I add a few to my salad in that now that I'm in maintenance mode, but it is a higher sugar veggie, so you might just want to be careful. Now, if you're thinking, my land, what do I do for pasta? I always had pasta with like a meat and tomato sauce. Well, some easy swap outs are this. So you can get something online on Amazon called, trying to think of what I used to use. Miracle Noodle. There's one called, I believe it's called New Pasta maybe. I've never had it. You can also take and spiralize zucchini. That works really well. If you want pizza, for a crust, there's something called fathead dough, I believe. I've never tried it. You can look up a recipe for a cauliflower crust, which would be really, really good for you. It uses usually eggs, cheese, cauliflower. You just have to look up some recipes for that kind of stuff. There are different keto oatmeals that you could make. So they use things like chia seed pudding chia seeds and hemp hearts and different things like that, some nuts and everything in it. So you can always Google these. There's recipes for all these type of things on there, okay? So you can usually find a keto alternative for anything that you would normally make with like bread or starch or anything like that. Anyways, when it comes to meats, the things that you'll probably want to take in for proteins are things like eggs, steak, pork, bacon, but non-processed. I know people eat a lot of processed bacon, but if you can just get pork belly and cut it up, that would be much better for you. Chicken, turkey, hamburger, salmon, fish. If you are in a hurry like I am sometimes, canned tuna or canned salmon works really well. Shrimp. Sausages, you just want to read to see what they have in it. If they have anything wheat related, you don't want to have it, because wheat is also carbohydrate. Things for fats that you will want to use. Butter, not margarine. Margarine's one step away from being plastic pretty much. So butter. If you can get grass-fed beef and grass-fed, all that kind of stuff, it's great. You can't always source it where people are, so get the best you can, and the best you can for your finances. So for fats, you want to look at things like butter and whipping cream for your coffee or to put on top of a keto dessert. Olive oil, avocado oil is my favorite right now. Camelina oil and coconut oil. You can do many things with that. Dairy, so you're looking at full fat things that you want. So full fat cheese, cream cheese, whipping cream for your coffee. If you can't do dairy, then something like coconut cream. So if you take a can of coconut milk, put it in the fridge, make sure it's full fat, let it set for about a day. The actual cream will actually stay on the top, and it's usually quite hard. You can take it out. You could use a scoop of that in your coffee if you want to, or for something else that you'd normally use cream for. That works. As far as nuts and everything go, really you can Google to see how many carbohydrates are in everything. So nuts, so you're looking at almonds, pecans. Pecans are one of the best keto nuts because they're so high fat. Brazil nuts. Like I said before, you can use hemp hearts and things. I tend to use the Manitoba Harvest brand. Chia seeds, you can use them for a chia seed pudding. Do Google that if you're interested in that. I actually went through a spurt where I was having that for breakfast every morning. I really enjoyed it. It's kind of tastes like a treat to me. Ketogenic Girl, if you look up her version of chia seed pudding, it's amazing and it's not slimy. It's really good. I would use cashew or almond milk for things because I'm not a huge milk drinker in general, and I really like that. For chocolate, now I don't know if you can get it around here, but there's Lily's chocolate. I think it's sweetened with stevia. I don't get that, but if you're going to get like chocolate, then try to get 90% or darker. So if you're getting Lindt, let's just say, if you go to a Lindor store, an actual store for Lindor, they have 99%, which for a full bar of it only has 4 grams of net carb, and it has, I can't remember how much fat and everything, but it's very, very low, and I would make stuff with that. If you're a big peanut butter lover, then get the natural peanut butter. So the only ingredient that should be on the side of a natural peanut butter is literally peanuts. That's it. Shouldn't have any added oils put in it, no added sugar, nothing. So we're talking just straight peanuts. And you'd be surprised how good that actually tastes. I can't eat the regular peanut butter anymore because it's like almost all sugar. It's kind of gross actually when you think about it. Anyways, so let me just give you some basics. So these are things that you could do, okay? Things that you want to eat, things that you want to stay away from would be the starches and the carby stuff, and refined sugar. So we're talking ice cream, we're talking all that kind of stuff. Pretty much if you put in the Google machine, put in keto pudding or keto pizza, or keto spaghetti sauce, or keto anything like that, you will actually get recipes for things. There are so many people out there with recipes for all these things that will help you, which will be good. I usually tell people to try to start by just diminishing all their starchy carbs and their breads and everything. And don't worry about counting carbs right away. Just get used to actually getting used to eating the foods that you would eat on keto and stay away from like the cookies and the sweets and all that kind of stuff. If you do start counting carbs, you can get an app to keep track of things. I can't tell you how much of anything you're supposed to have, but a normal everyday ketogenic diet will usually say 20 grams of net carb or less per day. As a female, I believe we need a little bit more than that, so you can sort of play with it. Never feel like you have to do something, especially if your body doesn't feel great with it. I have upped my carbs on a daily basis a bit, so I probably take in closer to 25 to 30 grams of net carb a day right now. Anyways, yeah, so that's the basics of it, guys, the basics. I hope giving you guys a list, and I think I will actually type this out and put it as a status as well, and I'll probably put this on my YouTube channel as well for those that need to know. I just encourage you, when you actually start this, just go for like 3 meals a day, and have like different foods. Have whatever you want. I don't care if you have steak and eggs for breakfast. You could have zoodles, which would be like zucchini spiralized, and with a pasta sauce over top of it. Just if you're probably better off to make a pasta sauce than buy one that's already made, because a lot of times they have added sugar in them. If you can find one that doesn't have added sugar, you'll probably just have the sugars that are in the tomatoes in there. So, I mean, it depends. I mean, you can veer between low carb or ketogenic on certain days and that kind of stuff. So it just depends on what you have. Tomatoes are a little bit higher in carb and sugar, but doesn't mean you can't have a sauce with some of that on some of the days and that kind of stuff. So anyways, guys, I hope that helps you out. Oh yes, and net carbs, I'll just tell you what that is, just in case you are looking to really decrease your carbohydrates and would like to know how much foods have in them. So net carbs is if you look on a label of something, or if you're Googling like zucchini, and you look, and let's just say zucchini for a cup of it has, let's just say 6 grams of carb, but then it has like 3.5 grams of fiber, then you take and minus the fiber off of the carb, and that's your net carb. So I know for myself what I have written down, and I use so many of the same veggies all the time that I know that what's in everything. So a cup of zucchini for me, I eat it raw a lot of times. It has 2.5 grams of net carb and like 31 calories. So it's a really, really, really nice low calorie / low carb veggie for me to add to my salads. One thing I didn't actually say on here was when it comes to squashes, a lot of squashes are starchy, but spaghetti squash actually isn't that starchy. And for a full cup of it, it's only 5.5 grams of net carb. So it's not too bad. So anyways, guys, this is just a brief, listen, I'm putting this on even with my mistakes, okay? I am human. I'm actually a little bit tired today. But anyways, so this is just a brief going over of different foods that you can or might want to eat on the ketogenic diet or swap out for other foods. There's so many things you can do, guys. So many things. There's like mug muffin recipes. You could put in keto mug muffin. You could put in like keto mug cake or keto like 60-second bread. There's actual things that you can do with almond flour and everything. I've never used almond flour, but people use almond flour and coconut flour. You can just Google anything you want and put keto beside it, and there's going to be some sort of recipe. So anyways, guys, I hope this has been helpful, and I will chat with you guys later, and have a great Sunday. I've got to go do a little bit more prepping for the week, but if you have any questions, just comment below this. All right, chat with you later. Bye-bye.